Hey y'all, it's Julie. Today we're going to talk about calculating the duration of an IV, and I wanted to go over this little example, and then we'll move on to the pages in your book. So the doctor orders D5.5 normal saline, 1,000 milliliters, going at 175 milliliters an hour, and they want you to calculate the duration. So if we know it's going at 175, we can divide 1,000 by 175 to see how many sets of 175 in it. So watch it here. So get your handy dandy calculator and go 1,000 divided by 175 equals, here's your answer. You're not freaking out. So your answer is, we're going to round it to the hundredths place. That's 2 places after the decimal. So it's going to be let me just do this. 1,000 ml divided by 175 ml equals 5.71. That's a 4 in the thousandths place, so it ain't going to change nothing here. All right. Now, I know that we don't have 71 minutes in our hour. That is not what that is saying. It is 0.71 of an hour. So we have 5 hours, and it's totally okay. You're cool. You're going to grab that dad blame decimal right there. And all you're going to do is do 60 times 0.71. And that's going to be 42.6. And we're going to round that up. That would be minutes. Would equal 43 minutes. So the answer would be 5 hours, 43 minutes. So don't freak out. And look, even if it had 31, it's not 31 minutes. So you're going to take the decimal place and multiply it times 60 to find out what is 0.71% of 60. Okay. Help them, God. Hopefully the lights went off in your head and now it's just shining. Okay. So, y'all should be more prepared. So this is 1811. And number 1, that's all we're looking at. It says, the thing about these problems, you're going to have to read it correctly. It says an IV of 500 milliliters was ordered to infuse in 3 hours using a 15 drop factor. Okay? With 1.5 hours remaining, you discover that only 150 milliliters is left in the bag. At what rate would you need to reset the flow? So this is telling you that there is 150 milliliters left in the bag. It's telling you that we have 1.5 hours remaining and that we're using a 15 drop factor. These 2 numbers right here are distractors. Because what you need to work this problem is 150 times 15 in 1.5 hours, which is 90 minutes. So let's do 150 milliliters times a 15 drop factor divided by 90 minutes. I don't know where my lid went, but we're going to use that sucker up today. All right. So your handy dandy calculator, you're doing 150 times 15 equals, divided by 90 equals 25 drops per minute is what you're setting it at to try to carry the order out through 3 hours. Okay? And do another. Okay, calm down. I'm just going to use this one. Okay. Number 2. An IV of 1,000 milliliters was scheduled to run in 12 hours. After 4 hours, only 220 milliliters have been infused. The set calibration is 20 drops. So regulate the rate for the remaining solution. So it was supposed to go over 12 hours, and this was noted after only 4 hours. So we still had 8 left to go. You get that? So we have 8 hours left. And it said after 4 hours, only 220 has been infused. So you have to subtract 220 from 1,000 to find out the remaining amount that you will have to calculate over 8 hours. I guess I could have wrote that in. And it's a 20 drop set. So look, let me do this. 12 hours minus 4 hours leaves 8 hours is what we've got to work with. And then it said there was 1,000 milliliters in the bag, and only 220 milliliters have been given. So you're reading it on purpose. And we're going to do 1,000 minus 220. So we got 780 milliliters to infuse in 8 hours using 20 drop factor. 20 drop factor. So let's set this up. Okay. We have 780 milliliters with a 20 drop factor going in over 8 hours. 60 times 8 is 480 minutes. Okay? So with your handy dandy calculator, walking like a boss, you're going to do 780 times 20 divided by 480. And that's going to be 32.5 equals 32.5 drops per minute. And you know we can't give half of a drop. Crazy. So that's going to round it up to 33 drops per minute. Okay? I don't want you to get frustrated. I want you to look at that sucker like you a detective. Okay. Look at number 3. An IV of 1,000 milliliters was ordered to infuse in 8 hours. With 3 hours of infusion time left, so that's what we have to work with. Let's do that. 3 hours, just because we're all getting old. You discover that 600 milliliters have been infused. So that's what's given out of the 1,000. So we have to take 1,000 milliliters and subtract 600. And so now we have 400 milliliters we're responsible for. And the set delivers 20 drops. Recalculate the drip rate and indicate how many drops you will count in 15 seconds to set the new rate. Yeah, I hope she gives you that because you're going to get it right. So it's a 20 drop factor. 20 drop factor. I should have wrote that down. Anyway, so we have 400 milliliters times a 20 drop factor. We're giving it over 3 hours. 3 times 60 is 180 minutes. So we get our handy dandy calculator, and we're going to go 400 times 20 equals divided by 180. 4444. So we're going to carry it out 2 places. Well, Dookie fart. Oh, yeah, it's 44. Sorry. You know I got an eye condition. So it's 44.4 drops. And the 4 isn't going to make that go up. So it's just going to be your straight 44 drops per minute. They want to know... They want to know what the 15-second number of drops is. So if we have 44, we're going to divide that by 4 because there's 4 sets of 15 that make up 60 minutes. 60 seconds. Wait. There's 4 sets of 15 seconds make up 1 minute. Thank you for bearing with me. Lord bless them. So you do 44 divided by 4, and they got to get 11 drops. Per 15 seconds. Okay? You're going to get that right. Please understand you're going to get it right. Okay. So let me show you something. All those other numbers, 1,000, all that. These are distractors, but you have to know to subtract the amount of hours from the original and the amount that's been infused from the original amount. And those are the numbers you're going to use. A lot of times, students feel that they got to use every number in the problem. No, you don't. And as nursing faculty, they got to know that I don't need all them numbers. All I need is this right here. And then we're going to keep it moving. Okay, so here we are, number 4. An IV of 750 milliliters was ordered to run in 6 hours with a set calibrated at 10 drops per minute. After 2 hours, you notice that 300 milliliters have been infused. So recalculate the flow rate and indicate how many drops you will count in 15-second rate. Okay, so the IV was 750. And you notice that 300 have been infused. So we got to take 750 milliliters minus, can you see? My bad. Anyway, 300 milliliters, and that's going to be 450 milliliters that we're responsible for. And it was to run over 6 hours. After 2 hours, so we got to take 6 hours. Sometimes they use that little 0 right there as hours. And so that's what I'm going to do. Minus 2 hours is going to be 4 hours. Okay. Y'all get used to that because that's how the doctor's going to write it. No, they probably got to write that sucker out. So we have 450 milliliters. We have 4 hours, and the drop rate is 10. So 450 times a 10 drop factor divided by 4 hours, which is 240 minutes. Like a machine. You grabbing that calculator? And you're going to do 450 times 10 divided by 240 equals 18.75. Equals 18.75. And you know where that's going. That's going to equal 19 goods per minute. And Clara want to know, I don't know who Clara is, but that's what we're going to call her. Wants to know how many in 15 seconds. We have 19 that have to be given in 60. We're going to divide that by 4, because there's 4 sets of 15 make up 1 minute, and we're going to get 4.75. I'd write 15 seconds equals 4.75 drops equals 5 drops per 15 seconds. I'd write that out. Don't put minutes, because, you know, Esmeralda's subject to mark it wrong or not understand. So we're going to leave that right there. Okay. So here we go again. All right, look at number 5. An IV of 800 milliliters was started at 9 a.m. to infuse in 4 hours. At 10 a.m., 150 milliliters have infused. The set is calibrated at 15 drops. Regulate the flow. Okay. So it was started at 9, and this happened at 10. That's 1 hour. It was supposed to go over 4 hours, so 4 minus that 1, 4 hours minus 1 hour is 3 hours. That's the time we had to deal with. And the IV of 800 at 10, 150 milliliters have infused. So we have to subtract 150 from 800. I hope we have to subtract 150 from 800. So here we go. I'm going to write it up here. 800 milliliters minus 150 milliliters. Dookie fart. 800 minus 150 equals 650 milliliters. I stopped cussing one cuss word at a time. I'm on the S word right now, and I say dookie fart. It works too, okay? So we got 650 milliliters to give in 3 hours, and we have a 15 drop factor. You know what you're doing. 650 times 15 drop factor divided by 3 hours, which is 180 minutes. Like a machine. Here we go. 650 times 15 equals, divided by 180. That is 54.16 equals 54.16 drops per minute equals 54 drops per minute. Isn't it fun? Okay, so look, I'm going to do number 6. An IV of 600 was to infuse in 5 hours. After 2 hours, so if we take 2 from 3, from 5, it's going to be 3 hours. 400 milliliters have infused. So it's been given. So 600 minus 400 is 2. I'm going to just 200 milliliters. Recalculating the drop per minute rate, a 20 drop factor set was used. So we got 200 milliliters. We did 600 milliliters minus 400. And that gave us 200. And then it was supposed to go over 5 hours, and we found this stuff after 2, so we have 3 hours to work with. And it's a 20 drop factor. So here we go, like a machine. 200 milliliters times 20 drop factor divided by 3 hours, which is 180 minutes. They like that one. Get our handy calculator and do all the math on the top. 200 times 20 equals, divided by 180 equals 22.2. 22.2 drops per minute. And that 2 ain't doing nothing. So we're just going to drop it and do 22 drops per minute. Circle it. You know why. Okay. I'm gonna go and do these other ones. So, a volume of 250 milliliters was infused in 2 hours. With 1 hour left, 70 milliliters With 1 hour left, 70 milliliters have infused. Calculate a new drops per minute rate to complete on time using 15 drop factor. So a volume of 250, it was over 2 hours. Okay, with 1 hour left, so that's our time, 70 milliliters have infused. So we got, so we got to subtract 70 from 250. Somebody going to get ridden up. 250 milliliters minus 70 milliliters. And you can do it on a calculator. Minus 70. That's 180 milliliters. And so it was supposed to go over 2 hours, and we only got 1 hour left, so it's got to go over 1 hour. And it's a 15 drop factor, so we're just going to do 15 drop factor over 60 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Are y'all all right? 60 minutes. And here we go. 180 times 15 divided by 60. And that's going to be 45. You see that? Equals 45 goods per minute. Look at us rolling. Picture me rolling. All right. An infiltrated IV is restarted with a volume of 420 milliliters to complete in 3 hours. Calculate the drops per minute rate using 20 drop factor. And then what will be the new 30-second count? Okay? All right, so you're not freaking out? No, you're not. So we got 420 to give over 3 hours with a 20 drop factor. So 420 mLs times 20 drop factor divided by 3 hours. That's 180 minutes. And so here we go with our weapon of choice. 420. Oh, dookie fart. 420 times 20 equals divided by 180. That is going to be 46. And we know Jesus, so we're not worried about all them sixes. Equals 46.6 goods per minute. Equals, that's going to make that a 7. 47 goods per minute. And I always write that out because I don't want her to come back. I ain't put that. I didn't know what you was talking about. And I can't hit nobody. So, that's what I'm talking about. All right. Let's do another one. Okay. This is number 9. If I can move it. Get on out of here. All right. After 1 hour and 30 minutes, 350 milliliters of 1,000 milliliter IV has infused. It was ordered to complete in 4 hours using a calibration set of 15 drops per minute. Calculate the drops per minute. So we had 1,000 and we got to subtract 350 because it had been given. So we have 1,000 milliliters minus 350 milliliters equals. Go and do it. You ain't got to, don't worry yourself. 350 equals 650 milliliters, what we're dealing with. And it is a 15 drop factor. And then it said after 1 hour and 30 minutes. And so we have 4 hours. So 4 minus, you can't do 130, but 1 hour, 30 minutes is 0.5 of an hour. So 4 minus 1.5 hours equals 2.5 hours. So, and you know that 2.5 would be 2 hours. 2.5 hours would equal 2 hours and 30 minutes, right? I know you do. So, 2 hours and 30 minutes is 120 plus 30, that'd be 150 minutes. Help them, God. Hope I didn't throw you. And then we're going to work it out. 650 times 15 divided by 150. 650 times 15 equals, divided by 150 equals 65. So we need to put that at 65 drops per minute. I sure hope this helps. Father, help them. Make it clear as day to them. And let them get every single one of them right. In Jesus' name, amen. He gonna help y'all.